Okay. Hello there, everybody. Good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are. Today, we will be talking about and going over all spoilers and discussion, theories, etc. regarding the new Superman movie, Superman 2025, directed and written by James Gunn. This is the first piece of content on this channel in a long time. So I don't expect many people to show up to the stream, and that's totally okay. So I don't know how long we'll be going for. We'll be going maximum 2 hours if there's enough people here chatting for that long. I suspect it'll be shorter, but that is totally okay. As this is the first, like I said, first piece of content in a while. But as usual, we'll go over my thoughts on the movie. And then I'll go to the live chat and we'll just talk live however long you guys are here. I guess final warning, even though it's in the title, spoilers, full spoilers for Superman 2025 will be in this live stream. So if you have not watched the movie yet and you don't want to know any spoilers, then this is not the stream for you. Put this in your watch later, or just, watch the movie and then watch the upcoming videos I have on my channel when they release. But if you either have seen the movie or don't care about spoilers, then let's get right into it. I really like this movie. The more I think about it, actually, the more I like it, and that's how you know a movie's pretty good. I literally had a random urge yesterday, just like, man, I really just want to watch that movie again. I can't wait till this movie is on physical on DVD, so I can just watch it over and over again. And specifically, I said this to my friend, when both Superman and Thunderbolts are on DVD to do a double feature, because I think that's going to be a great double feature. That and Superman and the Batman double features, because I think, maybe it's recency bias, call it whatever you want, but this, I think, is my second favorite DC movie, second only to the Batman. My top three: the Batman, this Superman 2025, and Shazam. And where to start, really, with talking about this movie? Well, first off, I guess let's talk about Superman himself. I think he was wonderfully not only portrayed, but also written. I think this was the best written Superman has been in the movies. I rewatched the original Christopher Reeve Superman movie before going to see this, and maybe it's just me, and that's totally okay. I thought it was fine. It was not as good as I remembered. It was really slow at parts, and there wasn't really a lot that happened. And there really wasn't a lot of Superman in it either. Superman 2, I remember liking a lot more. I know a lot of people like that one more. I didn't get around to watching that one. But this really just felt like a proper Superman movie through and through. It was, from the very beginning, it was hopeful, it was a little silly, it was comic booky, and that's everything you want in a Superman movie, and that's everything you want in a Superman performance. David Corenswet is... I've been going back and forth a lot the past couple days since I've seen the movie about whether or not he's my favorite Superman. It's between him and Tyler Hoechlin, the Superman in the TV show Superman and Lois. I have not finished that show. I'm about a season and a half into it, and I love that show. I love how Superman is portrayed in it. They're also kind of hard to compare. One is a experienced Superman with an entire family, kids. One is only 3 years into being Superman, and his only real quote-unquote relationship is a very early relationship with Lois. So it is a little hard to compare. I want to say, though, I like David Corenswet's Superman a little more, purely because it's slightly more comic booky than Tyler Hoechlin's. I still love Tyler Hoechlin's performance. If you are a Superman fan, I will always recommend Superman and Lois. Like, definitely watch that show. It is, I know it's a CW show technically, but it's so not the same as other CW shows. It doesn't deserve to have that title, because it's genuinely such an amazing and well-written and well-performed Superman and Lois show. But we're here to talk about Superman 2025, the movie. Man, David Corenswet was just fantastic. He was amazing in this role. Never for a second did I doubt that this guy was Superman. Never for a second. immediately he was Superman. And what's so good about this movie is how much it's not afraid of the source material. And that's something that we're hopefully seeing a lot more of in the future, specifically with the DCU, but in other comic book media as well, not being afraid to be comic book movies or comic book shows. There is this trend in the 2000s to be afraid of the roots, to be desaturated, to try to make it more serious, to try to make it more grounded, to try to do its own thing, instead of just being appreciative and honored of those roots. I love that this movie is unabashedly a comic book movie. I love that there's a fight in a pocket dimension in a river of anti-particles that leads into a black hole, like, while Superman is holding a baby. That is the most Silver Age comic book fight scene ever. But I love it for that. That's so perfect for this movie. I'm not saying every DC movie or every superhero movie has to have moments like that, but we're seeing it also with, the Fantastic Four movie coming out in a couple weeks. That seems to be just very comic booky. And I love that. I absolutely love that we're finally getting comic book movies that aren't ashamed to be comic book movies. But yeah, David Corenswet was absolutely perfect. I think with one more watch of this movie, or just one more appearance of Superman in the DCU, he'll probably become my favorite Superman definitively after Tyler, and then Tyler Hoechlin second. They're just kind of close for me right now. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois, their chemistry, I think, is easily the best chemistry for any Superman and Lois. Well, I shouldn't say easily. Again, Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch from the Superman and Lois show, they also have absolutely amazing chemistry. So I don't want to say easily, but out of all the movies, I think they easily have the best chemistry as Superman and Lois. I bought into it right away. Usually, I'm not huge on the idea of it in romances, especially with these big couples that we all know and love, like Superman and Lois. I'm usually not a fan of them just kind of throwing in this divide between them. But it worked for me in this, not only because the writing was good, but then pacing of it was good, but also just because their chemistry was so good. And Rachel Brosnahan, just in herself, was so good in this movie. The standouts for a lot of people are Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. Valid. He was fantastic. I haven't seen Smallville. I know a lot of people praise Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor as being the best live-action Lex Luthor, and he totally could be. I haven't seen Smallville, so I can't comment on that. Out of all the Lex Luthors in live-action that I've seen, the original one, the Gene Hackman, Jesse Eisenberg, and Nicholas Hoult, I think Nicholas Hoult easily is the best Lex Luthor. Not only in just performance, but his performance was absolutely amazing, and partly why, but because the writing of Lex Luthor was so Lex Luthor. In the original Superman movie, he's very cartoony. And not cartoony in a comic book way, just very cartoony. And that's fine. I actually really appreciated that when I rewatched the movie before going to see this one. I appreciated how cartoony it was. But he didn't really feel like Lex Luthor. He was just this kind of smart dude who wore a wig and didn't like Superman. But it really didn't go more than that. In this movie, he is the ultimate hater. I saw some people talking about how they really want to see a Flash movie in the DCU with Eobard Thawne after seeing Lex Luthor in Superman, and that's exactly how it should be. Lex Luthor is just the ultimate Superman hater, but he's also genuinely smart in this movie. It didn't feel like they were forcing the smartness in the writing, if that makes sense. He just felt like the most intelligent person in the movie, and that's how Lex Luthor should be. You should never question his intelligence. You should never feel like his intelligence is forced in any way. And that's how it was in this movie. He was amazing. And Mr. Terrific as well, a lot of people are just calling as a standout, as they should. Wonderful performance. I'm not super familiar with the character Mr. Terrific. My only real exposure to the character was in the show Arrow. So I don't know how comic accurate this one is compared to that one. I haven't seen any complaints that this Mr. Terrific is not comic accurate. So I'm going to guess that he is pretty comic accurate. I thought he was really great. There's rumors of him getting his own show, and I'm really looking forward to that if that's true. I'm really looking forward to see where where he's going to show up next and seeing him again. For me, though, my favorite standout, other than David Cornsweet himself, David Cornsweet was still easily my favorite character in this movie, favorite performance in this movie. But outside of him, my favorite has got to be Guy Gardner. I'm just a huge Green Lantern fan. Mainly Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is like my 4th favorite DC character, top 10 favorite comic characters. I absolutely love Hal Jordan. But I also just love anything Green Lantern when it's done well. And in this movie, Green Lantern is done so well for the small amount of screen time he has. Guy Gardner feels like Guy Gardner. Like, that is Guy Gardner through and through. He's arrogant, he's cocky, he's kind of a jerk, but also at the end of the day, he's still a Green Lantern. He's still a superhero. Like, he's still gonna save people and do what's right. And the powers, the Green Lantern powers in this movie alone, in the small appearance that we saw, already did the powers more justice than any live-action appearance before of the character, and that I really appreciated, and I really can't wait to see more of Guy Gardner in the Lantern show. I can't wait for that show in general. Hawkgirl didn't really have a lot to do. I don't mind. I really don't mind. I've seen some people complain about that, but this isn't a Hawkgirl movie. It's not a Justice Gang movie. It's a Superman movie, and all the characters, all the supporting characters in the movie are there to support that, not to have their own moments, right? I know Terrific had his own moment, and I know that Guy Gardner kind of had his own moment, so it is fair to say that Hawkgirl was a little underutilized. That's valid, but I don't mind. Plus, we know she's going to show up in at least one episode of Peacemaker, and let's be real, they're all going to show up again in some Justice League movie or something, right? Like, they're all going to be a part of that team. So we're going to see her again. Isabella Merced, I'm a huge fan of her, and she did great with the very small amount she had. Metamorpho, absolutely fantastic. Really hope we see a lot more of him. It sounds like he's a part of the Justice Gang at the end of the movie, so whenever they show up next, like the whole team shows up next, I'm hoping we'll get to see him again. He was great. Try to think of anything else. The Kents. The Kents, fantastic. Didn't have a lot to do, which is, I think, new for Superman movies, but the little that they did have, absolutely perfect. Zero complaints about them whatsoever. I hope we get to see a lot more of them. I hope they don't... I honestly, I hope they don't kill off John Kent. I know that that's a big part of Superman's character, and origin at times, but right now, at least, where that character is, based on how they ended the movie with him really just embracing who he is and not feeling like... not tying who he is to his past and to his biological parents, to, you know, tying who he is and embracing who he is now and his not biological parents, his adopted parents. I think there is a possibility that in the next Superman movie, if there is a sequel, they do kill off Jonathan Kent as that way of being conflict of like, oh, he's finally like embracing his adopted parents, and now, you know, one has passed away. I hope they don't do that, honestly. I really hope they don't do that. I'm really excited for Supergirl. Very small appearance. I loved it. I can't wait to see this movie. I'm not hugely well read on the Supergirl character. I know it's called Woman of Tomorrow. I know it's based on Woman of Tomorrow. I rarely ever read the comics of a movie or a project, you know, that it's based on beforehand, just because I don't want to be spoiled for the movie. I'm very heavily considering reading Woman of Tomorrow before the movie, just because that's how much I like this movie and how much I'm really invested in this universe now. Trying to think of any other characters. I'm going to mention I'm going to mention Jor-El in a second. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone outside of Jor-El. The Daily Planet crew. Jimmy, loved. Perfect. I love that they also kept the comic accurate part of just women just like totally fawning over him. Loved that. Perry White, very small to do. He was great. The other Daily Planet crew, not really much, but I'm forgetting. Oh, Steve Lombard. Funny as all heck, man. Every single one of his lines had me and my friends cracking up in the theater. And I think that's... Engineer, I thought was fine. Nothing really too special, honestly. And Ultraman, I have a video about Ultraman coming out this week, hopefully, that I think they kind of secretly set up something with Ultraman for the future that I'm really looking forward to, if I'm right. But let's talk about Jor-El for a second. The Jor-El twist is the only kind of gripe I have with this movie. If I can even call it a gripe, I don't... Some people are really upset about it, and that's fair. I'm not upset about it necessarily. I'm more just intrigued about where they go with it if they take it any further. For the sake of this movie, I don't have a massive issue with it, because this whole movie was about kind of, you know, Clark and Superman embracing who he is and not tying that need to do good to his biological parents or where he came from, right? It's not about where he came from, it's about who he is now and where he is now, right? So for the sake of that, I think it works. I'm not super well read on Jor-El in the comics, so please, if you know, definitely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I feel like the only real importance of Jor-El is to be that sort of quote-unquote guide to Superman as, you know, form of his consciousness in the Fortress of Solitude. And if he already has Kara, if he has the Superman robots, does he really need Jor-El on top of that? There's an argument to be made, yes, and that's a fair argument, but there's also an argument to be made that you don't really need Jor-El. So I'm not super upset by it. I can understand why people would be, and it's totally fair if people are, and if you are, but it's not something that really impacts me all that much. I'm not upset about it. It is an interesting twist for sure, but everything else in the movie is just so perfectly Superman and Lois and Lex Luthor, and just so perfectly all the characters, and so unabashedly comic booky and wholesome and hopeful and silly in a good way, that it really doesn't do much to bring down my enjoyment of the movie at all. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm really looking forward to more. We got Peacemaker Season 2 in a little over a month. Super excited for that. Then, when is Supergirl releasing? When's that release date? Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is releasing June 26th. All right, so we got a little under a year for that, but I'm super excited for that. I was already kind of excited for it. I'm a big fan of Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon. Jason Momoa as Lobo. I mean, what's there not to be excited for? But even more so now, I am incredibly excited for that movie. Lanterns next year as well. Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and we know Guy Gardner's going to be in a little bit. That's super exciting. Clayface next year, super exciting. And we know that Creature Commando's getting a season 2. I'm super, super excited for where this DCU goes. I absolutely have zero doubts anymore. My faith is fully in James Gunn. And yeah, the Superman was a great first movie in this DCU, and I really can't wait to see where it goes. It's crazy to me. I was, for the longest time, pretty much my whole life, I was never a Superman fan. And I just never thought Superman really appealed to me. Yeah, and that's fine. You know, you're not going to be a fan of every single character. That's okay. That was never a bad thing. I never thought Superman was a bad character. I just never thought he was for me. But recently, and especially now with this movie, I just realized that it's not that I wasn't a fan of Superman. I just wasn't a fan of Superman being written not like Superman. And this movie has Superman written as Superman. And I couldn't get enough of it. I absolutely loved his boyish charm. His innocence is the wrong word, but his just drive to do good at all times. His just all the different Superman isms I couldn't get enough of. And that is crazy to think about as someone who never cared for the character. But the fact that I think I can genuinely consider myself now a Superman fan after this movie, and also after Superman and Lois and My Adventures of Superman. Like, it's not just this movie, but this movie's kind of the final thing to make me finally think of myself as a Superman fan. And then with the Batman recently, finally thinking of myself as a Batman fan, a character I never really cared for either growing up. It's just really cool that that I feel that way about these characters. And if I feel that way about these characters, then I can only imagine how people who grew up watching Superman and reading Superman more so, and being a huge Superman fan, finally seeing this movie, I can only imagine how they're feeling. And I'm so happy that they're getting their character done right, as a Red Hood fan, as a Hal Jordan fan, as a Aquaman fan, and as a Nightwing fan. I really hope that those characters are done right in the DCU as well. I mean, there's really no indication right now. The closest thing we have with those characters is Hal Jordan in Lanterns. All we have of that is Kyle Chandler as an older Hal Jordan. The casting alone, I think, is phenomenal. I think Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan is a terrific casting. I'm still a little concerned about him being 60 and as old as he is. But I also have a video coming out in the next couple weeks about how they can sort of remedy that or kind of fix that a little bit. Red Hood, Nightwing, we really have no indication of. I mean, I can assume they're going to be in the DCU at some point, especially with Damian being the Robin and Brave and the Bold. But, you know, I can only cross my fingers for that. And Aquaman, especially after the 2 movies, I can only hope for the best. But yeah, I love this movie. And anyway, let's get to the live chat here. So like I said, I don't expect it to go super long, since this is the first piece of content on the channel in years. But I'll be here streaming as long as you guys are here chatting. So if anyone here is wants to chat and keep the stream going, share your thoughts on the movie, any theories you have, any thoughts you have about the future of the DCU that you want my thoughts on, let me know in the chat. I'll be here as long as you guys are here. Animals Legos, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Says, I told you Crypto was going to be in it. You did, but you also said he was confirmed at the time. He technically was not confirmed at the time to be in it. I also said at the time that I'm sure he's in it. I'm pretty sure he is in it, but I didn't want to say 100% because it was not 100% at the time. And, you know, you were saying it was 100% at the time. Zingy Red, welcome. Nice to have you. Thanks for tuning in. Says, felt like Guardians DC costumes. I disagree. Fell asleep halfway and couldn't wait for it to finish. So disappointed. Lois was good. Lois was great. Lois was great. I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry you had the experience. I had the exact opposite experience. I did not think it was similar to Guardians really at all. Honestly, I don't understand that comparison. They both have comedy and they're both superhero movies. That's about it. Even the James Gunn humor didn't feel similar to me. I know people are really, one of the complaints about this movie, some people said that some of the quote unquote James Gunn humor didn't land for them. And, that's fair. I mean, comedy is subjective. Most of the comedy landed for me, but I also didn't feel like it was signature James Gunn humor, if that makes sense. It didn't feel, I didn't think it was similar to Guardians at all. But, you know, totally entitled to your own opinion, your own experience. I apologize that, not apologize, but I'm sorry that you had that experience. I had a completely different one. Hopefully there'll be a movie in the DCU in the future that you'll enjoy. What's up, Bilbo? What's going on, man? Welcome back. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I almost didn't do a live stream for this, because I hadn't uploaded something in a long time. So I figured not really many people are going to show up, and I wanted to get some videos first, maybe before, to get the ball rolling. But I like the movie way too much not to do a live stream, even though, you know, like I said, it probably won't go on much longer, but I like the movie way too much to not at least hop on the mic for a couple minutes and just say how much I like the movie. But yeah, thank you for welcoming me back. It's nice to be back. I'm hoping to be back consistently for the future now. I have a handful of videos already lined up that I want to make. Goal is at least one video a month on the 3 main channels. So this channel, basically DC, the Marvel channel, basically Marvel, and the Star Wars channel, basically Star Wars. And then anything more than that is just a bonus. I already have like 4 or 5 DC videos though, just ideas like written down. So it's possible that starting probably next month, there'll be multiple a month. Probably no more than 2 videos themselves a month, maybe more shorts, you know, depending on releases, live streams. I might do a live stream. Actually, what is that? Not this week, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that. There is a Peacemaker panel, I believe, at San Diego Comic-Con. I might do a live stream for that. I don't know how big that's going to be, though, so I don't know if I will. I just got to kind of play it by ear and feel out how big that panel is going to be. But yeah, we're back on this channel. We're back on the Marvel channel. Or we're going to be back on the Marvel channel and this channel once those videos are made and uploaded. Star Wars channel hopefully won't be too far behind. I'm streaming semi-consistently on my Marvel Rivals channel and on my Battlefront channel. So yeah, we're hesitant to say that I'm back with YouTube, and hopefully we'll be back consistently. I understand it's gonna be slow rolling at first because I haven't uploaded in so long, especially uploaded consistently in so long. But man, this Superman movie has really invigorated me, not only just as a person, just to do good and be consistent in my own life, but it's reinvigorated me to start this channel up again, and to talk about DC again and make videos. And I love that. I'm so happy because I've been wanting to make videos on this channel, the Marvel channel, and whatnot for a long time, but I really didn't have anything to say with the DC channel. Granted, we were kind of in an in-between phase, so it's like, fair enough, but I didn't really have much to say, and whenever I would talk about the DCU, like upcoming movies, it would always just be bombarded with people who were just already anti-DCU for some reason, so it kind of brought down a lot of my motivation to upload on this channel. But at this point, like, y'all, this movie is the Superman movie. Like, we're back, and yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore about some people being negative for, no reason. Like, we're back. DC is back, and I'm super excited. Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone else here that you guys want to continue chatting about DC stuff, put it in the chat. I'll try to talk for a couple more minutes to see if anyone has any chats. But the Batman 2, I think, starts filming early next year, right? I think they're gonna wait for Dune 3 to be done. Rumor is that Robert Pattinson is in Dune 3. So I think once that's done filming, they're going to roll right into the Batman Part 2. Super excited for that. Like I said earlier, the Batman is my favorite DC movie. I think that movie is, not only the best DC movie, not only one of the best comic book movies ever, but like just genuinely, it's just one of my favorite movies ever. And I can't wait for Superman to be on DVD so I can watch it again. I am absolutely itching already to watch it again. It's, like I said, it's always a good sign when after you watch a movie, a couple days after, as you're thinking about it, the more you think about it, the more you like it. That's always a good sign. I have it with this. The more I'm thinking about that, the more I'm liking it. I just had that with Materialist. I saw that a couple weeks ago. And the more I think about that movie, the more I like it. So I'm excited to rewatch that when it comes on streaming. And when I watched Thunderbolts, a couple days after that, same thing. The more I thought about it, the more I really liked it. And I'm really excited to rewatch that, I think, in about a week and a half when that releases on DVD. But this is a fantastic year for superhero movies. Fantastic year. I know Brave New World came out to mixed reception. I thought it was fine. My one friend really loved it. Some other friends really didn't like it. I thought it was fine. But Thunderbolts was amazing, absolutely fantastic. And then Superman comes out, and Thunderbolts for me was easily the best movie of the year at that point, and was easily the best movie of the year that I've seen, at least, up until a couple days ago when I saw Superman, and then I really had to think, what was better, Thunderbolt or Superman? I think I give the slight edge to Superman. But we also have Fantastic Four in 2 weeks, and that's really hype. Which actor do you want as DCU Batman? I personally want Alan Ritchson, and I know that's become a popular fan cast in the past year. I want to make this clear that I made a YouTube short. It is literally the only public video on this channel, because I said it so early, and I want there to be public evidence that I said this fan cast this early. I was like the first person online. Obviously, it wasn't the first, but like I was like the first person online to say Alan Ritchson. I said that. Let me see. The video came out, I think, in 2023, June 2023, I believe, or no, early July 2023. Let me check this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this right. Shorts. July 7th, 2023, I uploaded a video, a YouTube short, who should play Batman in the DCU? And I said Alan Ritchson. I also said Pedro Pascal. I don't think he should be Batman anymore, although I stand by the fact at the time he wasn't cast as Reed Richards yet, and I thought if they wanted to go down an older Batman route, he would be a pretty decent Batman, but I don't really stand by that anymore. I don't think it should be Pedro Pascal. I definitely still think it should be Alan Ritchson, for the exact same reasons I said in that video. If you have seen Reacher, which if you haven't, watch it. The show is fantastic. But if you've seen Reacher, you know that his performance in Reacher is pretty much like one-to-one what a Batman should be. Not exactly one-to-one, with slight tweaks, obviously, because Reacher and Batman aren't the same character. But, like, the delivery of lines, that's how Batman is. It just exudes Batman energy, right? And we know he could also play more of the outgoing sort of chick magnet sort of, not arrogant per se, but like confident character. We've seen him play that too. Alan Ritchson has actually some really good acting chops in him, and he has quite a decent range. I would love for him to be Batman. The only thing is that he would need to slim down a little bit to play Batman. I'm usually against the bigger, bulkier Batman. I think Batman and the rest of the Bat family should be slimmer, leaner, more of the size of like gymnasts. But seeing as Robert Pattinson kind of already fulfills that build, I wouldn't mind Batman in the DCU being a little bigger, a little bulkier, especially since it is a more fantastical world, and we're hopefully going to be seeing this Batman going up against Clayface, like a man made out of clay, and all these other fantastical characters. I wouldn't mind a slightly bulkier Batman. That being said, Alan Ritchson would need to slim down a little bit, but I do think he would slim down a little bit to play Batman, because it's freaking Batman. And obviously he needs to dye his hair black, but like, you just dye your hair black. Like that's not a big deal either. He'd be such a freaking good Batman. It's not gonna be him. It's not gonna be him. And when the day comes that they announce the new Batman and it's not him, I'll be upset that it's not him, but I'll also fully trust whoever they cast. I am fully on board James Gunn with the DCU. I already was before Superman, but I didn't want to jump the gun, no pun intended, before seeing Superman. I wanted to make sure that, like, no, Superman was actually good and they stuck the landing, and this is, like, a really good first foundational movie, and it really is. So I'm, like, all on board trusting him with the decisions for the DCU, and whoever they cast for Batman, whether it be Alan Ritchson or not, it's going to be the best choice, you know, because he's just great at casting. That being said, I hope they at least audition him. Because I think he'd be so good. Same, bro? Yeah. Like I said, I know he's a popular fan cast now, and here's the thing, and I hate the internet sometimes for this. The fan cast has become so popular that it's like an Ouroboros. Now people are hating on the fan cast. I'm like, no. You're just hating on it because it's a popular fan cast. The same reason why you hate Pedro Pascal for being in everything when he worked for 20 years. No one knew who he was, worked for 20 years, and is finally in a lot of stuff. He's a good person. He's a great actor. You're hating on him just because he's popular. It's the same like kind of people who hate on Tom Holland for no reason, because Tom Holland is fan cast in a lot of things when Tom Holland's really not in a lot. It's just, you know, they're hating on stuff that's popular. It's a really good freaking fan cast. I know that I'm saying that even though it's my, you know, I had that same fan cast, but it genuinely is like a really good Batman fan cast. And people are hating on it just because it's popular. Anyway, regardless. Thoughts on some of the fan base wanting DC to cancel the Batman Part 2? I try to stay as positive as possible, so I'm going to try to word this in a way that's least negative as possible. I think it's dumb. I think that is such a dumb opinion. Just don't see the movie. The answer is that simple. If you're not a fan of the Batman or Robert Pattinson's Batman, I mean, fair enough. I disagree. I love the movie. It's my favorite DC movie. It's probably top 3, if not top 5 comic book movies ever for me. Comic book movies. But, you know, so I disagree with that opinion, obviously. But if you don't like it, fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's all film is subjective. So it's totally okay to not like a popular movie or not like a movie. But wanting them to cancel it? There's no reason to want them to cancel it. The first movie made a lot of money. They're going to make a sequel. It was also widely acclaimed critically and by fans. So they're going to make a sequel regardless. It's okay to also say, hey, this wasn't for me. I can see a lot of people, the majority of people enjoyed this movie or show or whatever. I'm happy the movies or shows being made for them. It's not for me. I'm not going to watch it. You want a prime example for that with DC in my experience? Joker 2. I did not like the first Joker movie. I am a big fan of the Joker. The Joker is my second favorite villain of all time after Darth Vader. So because of that, the character Joker is kind of, it's weird to say, I don't mean this in any kind of like weird way, but the character Joker is kind of precious to me because he's just one of my favorite, literally my second favorite villain ever. So I want to see him done right. And the first Joker movie felt like they just had this movie about this guy and they went, wait a minute, let's call it the Joker and set it in the DC world just to make more money. And that rubbed me the wrong way as a big Joker fan. So guess what? I didn't watch Joker 2. I still haven't seen Joker 2, and I really have no desire to see Joker 2. But also, I understand that the movie made $1 billion, so they're gonna make a sequel, right? So you know what I did? I just didn't see the movie. It's really as simple as that. You're not a bad person for that either. You're not a bad person for going, oh, I'm just not gonna see this because the first one wasn't for me. So I hit my mic. I apologize if you heard that. That's all you have to do. That is genuinely all you have to do. People online get so outraged over stuff for absolutely no reason. If you're not a fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman, like I said, I disagree. But you don't see the sequel. There's no reason to want to cancel it when clearly they're going to make one regardless because it made money and the majority of people liked it. So, kind of went in a circle there, but those are my thoughts. I'm really excited for it. I was getting a little restless waiting for the script to be done, but also I fully believe in waiting. I fully believe in waiting and however long it takes for the script and the movie and the project, you know, whatever it is, a movie, a show, a video game, a book, whatever, I fully believe that you keep pushing it back until it's the best it could be. Do not rush the projects out. I would much rather wait a little longer for a better end product than have that end product earlier, but it be worse. So with the Batman Part 2, especially with how much I like the first one, does it suck that it's going to be, 2020, is it 2028 or 2027? 2027. So yeah, it sucks that it'll be 5 years between the first one and the second one. That's a long time, but also I trust that the movie's going to be really freaking good. Also, I have more to say about this thing, about this topic, Bilbo, but I want to get your thoughts too, since you're the only one in here chatting, and I appreciate that. What do you think of this whole Muppet setup? It's obviously not smooth. There's some jitters, right? And I'm working on smoothing it out, but it took me a couple weeks to model everything and work on everything. I feel like this is a good, happy medium for not showing my face, but still having something to connect to and watch. What are your thoughts on it? It's going to be more polished as the months and years go on, as I work on it more, but I'm curious what your thoughts on it are. But anyway, as I was saying with Batman, I'm a big believer in waiting. So I'm really happy that the script is done and where it should be. And that's also a big reason why I have a lot of faith in the DCU. James Gunn has been very outspoken about not putting a project into production until the script is good, until the script is where it needs to be. And I think that's the right call. I think that's the right mindset. There's no reason to rush out movies or shows. All it's going to do is it's going to lose you money over time and negatively impact your reputation. I'm a big MCU supporter. We all know this. I love the MCU. I love Thunderbolts. I see every single project. I just watch Ironheart. I'm going to see Fantastic Four opening weekend. Like, I love the MCU. I have a whole MCU channel. And this is a sentiment I'm going to talk about in my upcoming video on said channel. But it's no secret that the past couple years with the MCU has tarnished is too strong of a word, but weakened the reputation of it, because some movies are really good, but other movies and shows were the general audience didn't really mess with. And that's just due to Bob Chapek trying to rush out a lot of projects, whereas James Gunn is saying, no, do the opposite. Let's make sure the script is good first, and then we'll start moving forward. And if the script never gets good, then the project is never just going to get made, and that's okay. And I mess with that heavily. I think that is the proper mindset to have, and I'm still incredibly excited for the Batman Part 2. Should they make Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves or start over? I'm not the right person to answer this question because I actually haven't seen the first Constantine movie. I know it's beloved. I know people want that movie to get a sequel. And I think at one point they were working on a sequel, yeah? So take this opinion, take this answer with a grain of salt because I haven't seen the first one. I'm gonna say start over. Just because as far as I know from the clips that I've seen of that movie, and just with the age of Keanu Reeves, that it's not the most comic accurate Constantine adaptation. I also could be biased. I really love the... Crap, what was his name? He played Constantine in pretty much everything that has been Constantine since. Constantine TV series. Matt Ryan. The Matt Ryan John Constantine from his show, which I actually haven't seen the show, but he showed up in some of the CW shows, and then he voiced Constantine in a lot of the animated stuff, which is fantastic. Low-key, just bring him back. Honestly, just bring him back. He's only 44. Like, bring him back to play Constantine, if I'm being honest. But in reality, I think they just start anew, cast someone new, but also, cast someone comic accurate. If they want to make Constantine 2 in its own little separate thing, a little Elseworld story, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like I was talking about with the Batman Part 2, right? And your question about, my opinion on people wanting it to be canceled. I haven't seen the first Constantine movie, so if I still haven't seen the first movie by the time the second one comes out, if they do, in theory, make a second one that's kind of Elseworld, or if I see the first one and didn't really like it, I probably won't see Constantine 2. But there are a lot of people who want them to make it. So if they have a good script and if they think the movie is going to make money, yeah, I mean, why not make it as its own little Elseworlds thing? I won't see it probably, but that doesn't mean don't make it. I do want to see a comic accurate Constantine, though, in the DCU. And I really would not complain. And I think many people will not complain about it being Matt Ryan. I really, that'd still be great. And I think Constantine's the kind of character, too, where, he could really play the character for a long time. He's only 44. Let's say in theory, 20 years down the road, he's 64, still playing Constantine. Honestly, I don't hate that idea. I really don't hate the idea of him being that age playing Constantine 20 years down the line in the DCU. And let's be real, we don't know where the DCU is going to be 20 years down the line. So, it's still all theoretical. I don't hate it. Bring back Matt Ryan as Constantine. If it is kind of funny, hey, fair enough. I don't know if the intention with the puppet is to be funny necessarily. My whole thing, though, I was talking to my friend about this too, and kind of what their opinions were. My biggest goal was to not turn people off with it. I know by default, there's going to be people who are turned off by it and click onto my videos or live streams and are like, what the hell is this? And click off and never click on again. But the same can be said if I had an actual face cam that showed my face. No matter what, there's going to be people who were like, oh, this guy, really? No. And they just click off, right? And that's just how it is. So when my friend said that, I was like, you know what? You're kind of right. I really like this idea. I'm a fan of just puppets in general. I think, puppet material, whether it's, the Muppets or whatever, or even seeing on YouTube. I know some YouTubers that have their personas on YouTube are actual, physical puppets. I think that's kind of cool. And like you said, a little funny. But, not in the way where it's, funny in a bad way. Funny making fun of way. It's kind of funny, oh, that's kind of cool way. And I haven't seen this a part of the comic book nerdy community, Star Wars, Marvel, DC communities online. So I figured, why not do it? I feel like having faceless videos just wasn't working, and that's also a big reason why I haven't uploaded on my channels in a long time. I felt like the content I was making before, where it was just my voice and then pictures on screen changing every 5 to 10 seconds, I felt like that was just so low effort and low quality. I wasn't proud publishing those and releasing those videos. I felt like it was just so low quality. And it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do to make higher quality videos and what I could do to make my videos higher quality so that I could be proud of them. At one point, I thought maybe I do 3D animated Legos, because that's relatively not, easy is the wrong term, but relatively easy to do. And I was actually already kind of working on a Lego 3D animated stop motion video when I was like, wait a second, what if I do 3D animated puppet. And then it still took a while, obviously, to model everything, to get the time to do everything. But yeah, I landed on this. Like I said, it's definitely gonna get smoothed out. There's some jitter stuff already. I know how to fix it, I think, so I just gotta find the time to work on it. The videos are gonna be smoother with the puppet, because I'm actually gonna be animating those for the videos. This is just images that go back and forth when I talk. Being the nature of just a live stream, obviously I can't animate as I'm talking live. But for the videos, the mouth movement is gonna be a lot smoother. And just like, you know, everything, the first videos are going to be more bare bones and not as polished, but as time goes on, as I get better and better, it's going to be more and more polished, and I think it's going to end up being pretty cool. But like I said, as long as it doesn't turn people off, as long as it doesn't turn the majority of people off, I think this is going to be, I think this is the right call moving forward. Yeah, if there's anything else anyone wants to discuss regarding DC, put it in, or regarding Superman, put it in the live chat. I'll stay talking for a couple more minutes to see if there's any other chats that come in. A lot of people there's still the debate on whether or not Robert Pattinson's Batman is going to be the Batman of the DCU. I still don't think he's going to be, and I still don't think he should be. As much as I love the Batman, and as genuinely as good as I think it would be to have Robert Pattinson's Batman and David Corenswet's Superman interact, that would be great. Like if Robert Pattinson's Batman does end up being the Batman of the DCU, I'm not going to complain. I don't think it's going to be bad at all. I think it's going to be really quite good. But I don't think he should be. I think they should just keep him separate. There's room to keep the universes separate. And I also just want Alan Ritchson to be Batman. I still don't think he's going to be Batman. James Gunn has still stands to his word, saying that they considered it, as they should. People kind of ran with that. They were doing their job by considering merging the universes like that. They have to discuss just go down the rabbit hole, the theoretical of, hey, all right, in theory, what would it look like if we brought in Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU? What would that look like? They're just doing their jobs by discussing it. Doesn't mean that they were ever seriously considering it. It just means that they had to go down that rabbit hole. I still believe James Gunn when he says that Pattinson's not going to be the DCU Batman. But also plans change, you know, after seeing Superman and the reception of that, and possible behind-the-scenes script troubles with Brave and the Bold. Who knows? Maybe they do merge the universes, and I'm open to it. It's all comes down to execution, so I'm open to it. I think it could be good. But I'm not seeing any more chats in the live chat, so I think I'm going to end the live stream here. Final thoughts on Superman. I really like this movie. I'm going to be rewatching it once it comes on DVD. I can't wait for future DCU content, shows, and movies to drop. And in the meantime, I have some videos I'm working on. I don't know exactly when it's going to release. Their goal is for my first DCU video to be released this week, but it's, you know, my first time making these videos with an animated puppet. So there's likely to be unforeseen what's the term? Hiccups, you know, and hurdles and whatnot. But I have videos in the pipeline that I'm gonna make, so stay tuned, guys, for those videos coming soon. Hopefully I'll see you in those videos. Have a good day, have a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed Superman, and yeah, just remember to be kind, and hopefully I will see you next time.